So this video is for the month of December. It's for the solstice energies that we have and kind of what to expect with these energies and moving forward. So a lot of people are in turmoil right now. So we're in turmoil and we're in transition because we're wrapping up all these different cycles and lessons and facing really big personal challenges. For some, it's their worst fears that they're having to live through or face, and others, it's just other fears, minor fears or old patterns that are being wrapped up that are really challenging. And a lot of people are clearing stuck emotions too. That's something a lot of people are having to really face, these tough emotions that used to be buried under activity or distractions of whatever sort, right? So people go in and out of hopelessness and feeling helpless. And we've been doing this for a couple of years as we've had these really big shifts in our society and our ability to move around the planet and interact with others at will. And it's just really important to remember that when we go into these spaces of feeling helpless or feeling hopeless, that we start asking questions to help ourselves get out of that kind of funk that we can get into, right? So we have to, in those moments, instead of like really allowing ourselves to go into that, we have to ask ourselves, okay, what would it take for me to have a good day today? Or what would it take for me to shift this energy? Or how can I shift this energy? And then move forward without dwelling in these lower vibrations, right? Because while, yes, it's good to face what's coming up, you don't want to dwell in the lower or negative vibrations, right? They're just a message that where your head is leading you, where your mind is taking you, is not really the place that you're trying to go. So that's why it feels often heavy or bad. Those, whatever we're making up about it in our mind is what causes the bad feelings. So one of the things about the solstice is we're going to be noticing, and not even just on the solstice, but before and after, time and space anomalies, essentially. So things moving really slow at times or time flying by. So really big splits in the timelines, friends, jobs, family, and so much has changed, right? But we're rearranging by choice. So people are choosing new pathways while things are stirred up in the collective. This serves to allow us to rearrange ourselves into where we feel we need to be, right? Or to face the things that prevent us from being where we feel we need to be. But really, we want to be taking actions out of courage and out of joy and inspiration and motivation, and facing our fears rather than taking action on them. So the action to take with fear is to clear it, right? Just noticing that where you're taking action from is actually pretty important. Okay, so the intent to continue with the divide and conquer strategies, this is something that has just been ongoing for so long because we're dealing with these different beings that just, this is one of their strategies. So they get people to turn against each other through subtle strategies played out by the media, which you can see in action right now. Turning two different groups on each other. Doesn't matter what the two groups are. It's just that division and war, This is just something that humanity has been groomed to do. Really paying attention to where you're buying into anything like that and doing your best to stay away from the division. The timeline split really allows people to get to where they need to be. And the division that is being done to humanity through like an insidious plan by these other beings, that's what we really need to pay attention to. Where are we being turned on each other? Families being turned on each other, neighbors being turned on each other, communities being turned on each other. And then look at who loses in that and who gains in that, you know? And so when you can look at who gains in that, you can see that a lot of this stuff is orchestrated and done to get us to go against each other. And either you want to perpetuate that and support that, or you don't. And so being clear about ways that you may unknowingly be supporting division, you know, just kind of pay attention to that. Anyways, you know what I mean. So what's beautiful about this is it's becoming so blatantly obvious, the division, right? That now we have to face it. And in order to step into unity, we kind of do have to look at the ways that we're staying out of unity or that we're creating division amongst ourselves, right? And then we can address it and clear it and move forward. So everything that's coming up right now in the collective and around the world, exposing all the deception and lies and all of that, it leads to great transformation. And the reason that we are having this great transformation in the first place is because all of us have been asking for something different. We are the creators of the timelines and the experiences here. We're imprinting this reality, right? So it's all serving to create like the big upset, so then you deal with it. It's the classic squeaky wheel. It's, you know, it really is that. Like when there's not a problem, you don't fix something. When something becomes a problem, you pay attention to it and you fix it. And that's what we're in. The way that this world has been run with harvesting energy, harvesting loosh, enslaving people, like, no, we're done with that. Violence, war, no, thank you. So that's where this big transformation is underway. And so looking at the silver lining of everything that's going on, it is exposing the truth. It is exposing the corruption. It is bringing everything up to the surface and bringing it onto the table to be looked at by everybody. So moving forward from this solstice and during this solstice, it's going to be really important to do your best to start staying off of electronics more and more. And on the solstice, set aside time to meditate, you know, and commune with the earth and become best aligned with this cycle of completion and this collective jump in consciousness and where you're at in that and where you're at in your inner work. When you stay aligned with the earth energies, you want to make sure you're using the earth to kind of ground out any excess electricity that's in your body. Because when we're surrounded by all the different electronics and the Wi-Fi, it can start to overwhelm our nervous system, and which is kind of like our electrical system, right? And it interferes with our energy bodies. Right now, the Wi-Fi already interferes with like our psychic abilities and things like that. But with the electricity, it also interferes. So, you know, getting connected in with the earth energies, if you can stand on the ground, barefoot, connect in, or I like to put my feet in the sand at the beach, you know, and kind of bury my feet. I just enjoy doing that. I always have, but that's however you like to do it. Just make sure that you set aside some time to actually ground out some of these really high energies that have been moving through us. And plus, we do live in this environment with all of this electricity, and it definitely impacts us. So take some time to do that. When you're communing with the earth, it's important to know that you can receive information from the being that is this planet. And it's probably not going to come in sentences. It's going to come in blocks of information. So, or it can come in images or feelings, you know. So you can interact with different beings through intention, right? So if you set the intention to connect with the earth and to listen to what the earth has to say or to receive a message, then you will. You just have to be open to receive, right? So that's something that this energy of this solstice is actually really special this year because it's mid-cycle in this really big cycle from September to March, right? We're like, and being partway through means that a lot of us have fallen on our faces and made a bunch of mistakes and cried like rivers of tears and felt like failures. But we also stood back up and dried our cheeks and kept going forward, right? So a lot of people are in breakdown, breakthrough, breakdown, breakthrough. And not just with the emotions or even the beliefs and thoughts, but with the bodies too, getting sick and then feeling better, then feeling sick, then feeling better. And, or, catching a cold or having a headache and, kind of in these really big challenges. Like I said, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or even spiritual, when your beliefs get changed, when you incorporate new information. But all of these different things that are shifting right now are shifting because of our asking and through our intention. And so having the support of the earth and offering the earth the support, you create this symbiotic connection, right? So you're generating light on this planet. You're powering this collective. You're adding into this beautiful collective of light beings that are in human bodies right now. And with the earth as well. And so just listening and sitting on the earth and listening, or leaning up against a tree, or however you like to connect, going for a walk even. But make sure that you start bringing more earth and nature time in and less electronics. Making sure that you recognize when your devices are becoming a distraction. Because if you think about it, you could scroll through Facebook, you could scroll through Instagram, or you could scroll through something like that. And it may be good for you to do that. There's a time and a place for everything. But you could also be in meditation. You could also be, think of all the different things. You could literally be doing anything else. And it could be self-care, or it could be, working on your business or working on your art project or whatever it may be, right? So just recognizing that these devices can become a distraction from our actual communion with the planet. And it's really that direct support that we feel when we are connected with nature and with the planet that we need to keep going forward. Pay attention to what you're choosing, especially around the solstice and, the couple weeks after, really. Okay, so I don't want to make this any longer. Much love to you, family. I'll be back very soon, and bye-bye.